Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for a crypto highlight video. And if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check out the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. Okay, so the asset that was highlighted for me to look at this time was Quant, so QNT. So we're going to go through our normal process starting from the monthly, weekly, and then down to the daily. So looking on the monthly, we don't have a ton of information. We have some information, but not a ton. So one we can mark here as a monthly support level that we're so far showing respect for is actually the low of the impetus candle on Binance here. So let's make this a red trend line so we know it's off the monthly time level. As you can see, price went up, came down, respected it for about, I would say, 3 months, and then on this fourth month here it dumped lower, came back, held it as a support resistance zone, found the strength to break through, and then once more has come back down over these last, I would say, 3 months, potentially 3 months. This month here that we're in has not reached this level as of yet, but the last 2 months have. We had a wick here and then a nice little wick here, and we've been holding it as support going forward. Okay, so I am liking how this level is playing. I also like what I'm seeing here from this monthly candle. It is early on. We do have about 26-27 days left, but as the low that was made here back in June 2022, potentially if we can hold this monthly level, we're looking at a higher low on the monthly time frame after, this is where it's really cool, after taking out these high wicks, this high pivot zone over here. So this pivot right here, and then this little swing high zone over here. So we've changed character potentially, and if we can make this higher low from here, we are looking at potentially a really significant move in the coming months for Quant. So I'm actually very bullish on Quant when I look on the monthly chart. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but the caveat is it's a very young chart. There's not a lot of data, and again, we're really early in this month, so we could see over the next 20 plus days where we do start selling off, depending on how the general markets interact. Okay, so let's go down to the weekly, see if there's anything else that I'm seeing. So weekly, again, I'm liking what I'm seeing, a nice bottoming potential structure here. Okay, so we had a nice little rip lower after taking out the liquidity under these levels here and making this nice little low. So this is what we were looking at on the monthly, and now we've come back up and we've been holding this level of 98.44 for weeks and over a couple months. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. So reiterating what I went over on the monthly time frame, this is looking quite bullish in my opinion. We even have a very slight uptrend line here. So looking at this line here, let's use a ray right here. So from this low pivot to this low right here, we're in this slight little uptrend. So we're going to keep this here for now. So this is a weekly uptrend line. We'll make it a black line like it is, that we know it's off the weekly time frame. And then we also have this lower level here. Let's mark this as the all-time low, and we'll just do it off of we'll keep it red because it is the same all-time low as it is on the monthly time frame. So we'll just make sure to keep that there. It's good to keep that in mind, because if this were to break, let's say, then we could start looking for price action similar to like this. So you break down and then start consolidation, and then this consolidation will most likely have a bearish implication, a bearish character, and then a continuation down to attack the all-time low. So if we do start losing this weekly uptrend line, I would look for us to break into this zone here and then look for a bearish consolidation of some sort to then attempt to break the all-time low and then trend down to new lows. Okay, so that's kind of like your quick little trigger if you lose this uptrend weekly line. This is a very stable trend line. Okay, this weekly trend line is very stable, this uptrend line here. So if we are going to have an uptrend going forward in the coming months, this should hold. Okay, so we're going to keep that on there. Let's go down to the daily, see if there's anything we can see in the short term. And the daily is looking pretty great. This actually looks pretty good here. We have a couple levels we want to look out for. So we have a really small fair value gap right up here. We're even attacking this fair value gap we're currently in right now. So let's mark this so we can see what we're looking at. So we're currently trading in a daily bearish fair value gap right here. So that's being attempted to get filled as we speak. And then we have a really small one right here. So this one right here, look out for this to be tapped as we come into this descending consolidation prior to this pretty massive drop during the FTX debacle. All right. And I also want to highlight this trend line here. So there's a trend line, a couple trend lines I want to highlight here. So you have this trend line here. So it's from this low wick right here. So this is going to capture a lot of this consolidation, and then the high side of that wick over here, of this swing high, I should say, right here, which look where it coincides right where this fair value gap is. And let's change the color to these to blue so we know it's off the daily time frame. So these lines you want to keep on your chart just to give you a couple levels where it's probably going to find some issues getting through. But if we do have a continued uptrend, eventually we'll find the strength. But this line, especially at 161.52, which is pretty much overlapping this small bearish fair value gap, look for this to perform as very strong resistance, because if this is taken out, it's very likely we take out this consolidation here and grab the liquidity above this high here. Okay, and the way it would look, in my opinion, is you would look for this pivot up here. Okay, so the beginning, the first lower high from this drop here, pull the trend line to here. Okay, so this is what I would look for to play as your rising resistance line going forward, especially if you're going to grab the liquidity above this level. Okay, so watch for this trend line to play a role in the future. Should we continue this uptrend line, especially if we take out 161, I would start targeting a major move going towards 200 plus and potentially all the way up to 300 if we have a continued move in the overall markets as well. And then looking at this consolidation back here on the daily, look how choppy it was. But there's a clear story here. You know, no matter how many wicks you're seeing here, if you look really closely, it looks like it's doing one thing, right? It's going sideways. Remember what I always say is markets do one of three things, and people who try to make it more complicated don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's simple. You go up, you go sideways, and then you go down. Now the sideways action can have a slight tinge down, a slight tinge up. Doesn't matter. You know a consolidation or a range when you see it. If you try to make it more complicated, you're just making your life harder. There's no point in that. This is clearly a consolidation, and then this is clearly a drop. Rise, consolidation. Not rocket science, okay? It's not rocket science. If you make it harder than it is, you deserve to lose money. Make your life easier, okay? So let's pop these trend lines here. Let's grab as many of these wicks as possible to give us the most accurate information as possible. Now we can go from this high here, but let's actually lower it to this wick right here. Reason why is because we're not just grabbing the information here to the right, we're also getting some information here to the left, the price action right here. So this wick, all of this price action to the top side here. And then let's also mark the low end of this sideways action here. So we could go from this low right here, which, you know, grabs this low wick, also this wick here. But let's also look at this over here, go slightly higher, and we'll grab the body of this here, and slicing through, you're getting all these wicks here. So this gives you a much more, in my opinion, accurate look of where you're going to see the next major consolidation zone that you're going to want to deal with. And as you can see, as you go forward, you'll find this rising trend line starts trading into this level. So you'll find confluence into the future if Quant can find the impulse to go higher. In my opinion, looking at this structure, it seems very likely you're probably going to see Quant eventually break out, you know, have its time of pullbacks, but eventually break out, take out the liquidity from this high pivot here, and then look to attack this consolidation and potentially start stabbing into this rising trend line and this general zone of resistance. This will be a general zone of resistance because there's a lot of trading that happened over here. All right, so this is looking pretty bullish to me. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate, if we do break down, especially from this weekly rising trend line, so highlight that black rising trend line, that to me makes it extremely likely we're going to break the all-time lows. Okay, all right, it'll be over a longer period of time, but we'll likely make some sort of bearish consolidation as we break down to then get the fuel to break under this level. It's that simple. Okay, so watch that rising trend line on the weekly time frame, and then if we should break up, especially past this first bearish fair value gap where we're fighting right now, then watch for us to come into that next level here at 137.55 to 161.52, where the smaller bearish fair value gap is residing, and that's the last fair value gap we have in the general area. I don't even see one over here. I could be mistaken, but I really don't see one here. So there's not really much left other than these consolidation levels. If we should break through this level and this level here, watch for a pretty nice rise, in my opinion, to attack this high pivot. All right, everyone, that is it for Quant. I hope you found this to be valuable information, and if you like the content, make sure to give me a like, subscribe, maybe a share if you're feeling nice. I really appreciate that. If you disagree or agree with me, leave a comment, and make sure to join the Discord. The crypto highlight videos, the stock highlight videos, I have now opened up to everyone. So what I mean by that, everyone previously could watch the videos, whether you were a premium member or a free member, but now, whether you're a free member or a premium member, you can suggest for me to make a video on any asset, whether it's a stock, crypto, or even a commodity. I will get around to making that video. Just give me some time. You know, I can't promise I'm going to do it immediately, but I will get it done for you. All right, everyone, remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. I love you guys. Take care.